pump up the volume. All right.
Happy Easter. That's coming up, I believe, right?
No, wait. Yeah, it's coming up. I thought it was later in the month.
Yeah, okay.
I always forget. I always forget what day it's on every year. For some reason. Are
you there, Joe? Or am I there?
This is the first song.
Okay, you're back on. You've slipped out for a while, or I did. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing.
Did you hear that?
I can hear that. I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Did you hear the song?
No, I
Yeah, I
wonder
can
if
hear you. Did you hear the song I put on?
I wonder if maybe the song, if you played it on your computer, cut out the audio visual.
Let me try something, okay? I'll try present and share screen. Maybe this will solve it. Let me try. Let me try going back to the beginning, and let's try this.
And look at I thought that was beautiful.
Doesn't that just stick with you?
Yes,
Yeah, like this is the sort of
the animation style.
yeah, same. Too bad they didn't have more of it. It's just a freaking intro. But that's the sort of music I love to hear or something. Like, and they play that as an actual, like a different variant of that song occasionally in the actual series. And the thing is, I think this sort of production, there's a lot to be learned from it. And hell, like if you look at the Merlin 1998 movie, or I know it's a miniseries, but I think of it as a movie. And the thing is, in there, they had a great soundtrack. Even the 10th Kingdom by Hallmark, great soundtrack. But this movie of The Last Duel, I wasn't wowed by the soundtrack. And that helped set up background. I also found The Last Duel could have been shorter. It probably should have been an hour and 30 minutes, not 2 hours and 30 minutes. Because if you could do like a story about a duel, if in a modern sense, with Rocky 1976 in an hour 31 minutes thereabouts, or 36 minutes, you can do that with this one. It's just shorten it up, tighten it up. No need for superfluous scenes. So that's where, if I had to give this a rating to 0 to 4, I don't know where I'd put it. It's so frustrating for me. It's very frustrating for me. But then again, weirdly, I would have preferred it had there been a French production of this, so that it'd be in French, because every time they do some correct French pronunciation, my brain switches to French, and then it gives me, I then end up going, wait, why are they speaking English? And then I switch back to English. Then it's just, pour quelqu'un comme moi, it was the most frustrating thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so this was a very frustrating movie for me. And I don't say that to trash what you love, Sam, but it's just, I was so frustrated by this.
I had my thoughts about Solomon Kane. You can have your thoughts about this.
Yeah, that's fair. Solomon Kane though was cool.
Fair enough. Yeah. I love this movie. I would give it a 4 out of 4. I think it's a good movie. I love it. I think the acting is airtight, and to me, it just movies are a feeling, and that's not very quantifiable. But I'm tired of quantifying things.
I can understand that. Well, I would say that if we had to choose the next movie, it'd either be a Val Kilmer because he's recently passed, and it'd be, I think, the respectful thing to do. But on the other hand,
Tombstone?
Val Kilmer.
No, Val Kilmer. I agree, but didn't we decide on Tombstone?
Yeah, I think so.
I know you know
Um,
westerns, but this one is a unique film, I think.
yeah. Um, then we'll have to figure out what we're going to do after that. I have no idea.
I mean, there are two great ideas that I think I have. I always think I have great. But the Outlaw King on Netflix, of all things, the story of Robert the Bruce.
I'd prefer the Robert the Bruce 2019 movie.
Well, I'll give you some selections, but I get to pick.
But didn't you just pick two of them?
I'll pick the selections. You pick the. Well, the other one would be. This one I don't think
No,
it's called
here's
the
I was
King.
gonna,
Also on Netflix.
I was going to say, instead of Outlaw King, what about Tolkien?
Okay, you want to do something Tolkien? What would you like?
No, that's what I just said. 2019 Tolkien. I love that movie.
Tolkien? I don't know. What is that?
Have you seen the Tolkien movie with Nicholas Hoult? And
Oh, yes, I have. I would certainly be happy to do that one. Yeah, I was
after Tombstone.
after Tombstone. Yes, that I would. I think that'd be great.
This way, we both get a movie. We get a movie we both like, and we're
Yeah.
both going to be excited about, rather than having our own last duel over Solomon Kane than this one. Yeah,
Lance.
yeah, but not to mention Tolkien. It's like that is a movie that like people trashed online, but I was like, "The hell are you doing?" It's a good movie.
I
Even
would
a great one.
movie for any fantasy fan who is thinking about his or her future in the genre to watch and internalize. I would go so far as to say that.
It was also a great World War One drama and tragedy.
And I've always been a fan of the Peter Jackson adaptations, which I know is a very divisive comment. However, I can say that watching that movie showed me how it could have been better portrayed, especially the scene with the Nazgul, which you can find word about the second third of the movie, where we have Tolkien kind of really in the thick of things, and a German officer is on horseback surveying the land looking for him in a cloak because it's winter. That visual of that, the origin of the Nazgul kind of idea was my favorite part of the movie, and would have been an amazing adaptation, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, so we're gonna have Tombstone. We're gonna have Tolkien. One thing I'm curious about doing is maybe trying our hand at. There's a Tolkien and Lewis TV series, I believe, that's out.
Okay.
I'd be keen to do that because we're fantasy authors, to market our fantasy with that, but also debate those two because they are two of the great literary minds. But I fear steamrolling either of our choices, especially yours.
No, so liberals are high. Personality wise, we are high in the big five. That the current psychological profile that clinicians use. We are high in openness to experience, vis-a-vis conservatives, which runs into its own problems as we don't need to get into. However, what gets me a thrill is new things, new novelty, which it's not great, but also it can be a strength in certain circumstances. And it has really, we don't need to get into this at this point, but you want to talk about growing your Substack audience. This one is just like to me has been foundational. Subscribe to more and different things. Do it at a pace you're comfortable with, and don't do it
Yeah.
in an authentic way, but challenge yourself maybe to find something adjacent to fantasy, sci-fi, or genre that is close. And I've made a lot of connections that way, because when someone subscribes to me, I always go and see, do I, and usually I do, because if they like my stuff, that means they've got good taste.
Yeah, I've basically gone with that mentality with Substack. Although somehow, like, but for the past while, I've been trying to I've been sticking the nose to the grindstone and trying to churn out essay after essay, and
it's
trying to.
I don't know what's going on with you.
But just trying to grow the platform. But the funny thing is, there's the upcoming anthology, which is going to be collecting 5 stories, I believe, from Warrior Wednesday, and the idea will be that there will be a crowdfund for that.
Oh, that's great.
And it'll just be like about $800 to $900.
Okay.
And that's one project.
The great thing about being a writer, and with some of the tools that have become available, I know that we have a difficult relationship, all of us, in a personal one, with like changes rolling out to Substack, and we don't need to get into that. But the point is, it doesn't take much to make an impact. Right now on Substack, again, I feel like I come across as a paid plant from Substack, and so I'll end it on this, or my part of it on this, which is that, and I do have some more quick ideas too if we have time, but I'll end it on I hate chat. Substack chat blows. I'm not afraid.
I'm still trying to figure out how it works.
I disabled it completely for all of my public, except for my main one, or my engine one, or how I pay for things, which is genre growth, which is just, it sounds like a grow your own Substack, and maybe fairly it is, but really at this point, I just keep the chat as an open running commentary on what I'm doing. So, like, for instance, subscribing is in there. You just read through it. It's not that long. I'm just using it like Reddit, but like, the main one besides subscribing, Instagram ads. For $100, talk about having an impact. For $100, I bought 7 real subscribers, not bought, but like that's how I view doing that. Now they're free, but what we can use, what marketers get, is that creatives have the power to cut through all of this stuff. So it wasn't hard for me, it won't be hard for you, and I can guarantee it will not be hard for anybody who has the wherewithal to think up a sci-fi or a fantasy universe. Making an ad that will be fun, engaging, and whatever tone you want to get, well, you can do it. All I did was, I love these. People may not like them, but this is my favorite image I've got so far of Ethel, my main character. And I'll put these up there and just be like, here he is getting punched in the stomach or something. But he's kind of astonished, and like, the cover of it does homage. This comes from open source everything, right? I know you can't read it, but it's designed to be an homage to the text-based nature of Substack. And if you can, I don't know if you can see this, but it's probably backwards, but it lists on the front of it MMC, FMC, Epic, hard magic system. So I know that that's a little bit breaking the fourth wall probably for you, but you combine that with ads. All you have to do is make a post on Instagram and then link a credit card, and it does like you click on a boost. If I have time, I'll talk more about this, but that's a passive way, if you're willing to part with let's say $200 over the course of like a month or two, to really take advantage of what I think is a big growth period in Substack's history that we can ride to get people in and build the audience, and then pretty much have Substack come to us saying, we had no idea, and this is so profitable, what can we invest? And then from there, there's more to do.
Okay, so Instagram ads, you said?
Instagram ads, that's my kind of current recommendation for people who want to grow quick. And you have some money to put in there. I'm not talking about $1,000, I'm talking about $100 to $200. And what you do is you load it in like tokens in an arcade or quarters in an arcade or whatever it is you guys use up there. And you pretty much put up like $100, and then over the course of a period of about a week, it'll pay out, and it only pays you out when someone clicks on the ad. So mine features, I mean, I don't have the artwork with me right now, but it features a subplot of mine called Mad to the Spy, which is happening at the same time, but is an add-on kind of. And that's another thing too, is I've been having more success with a product as opposed to, writing as a service kind of thing. But that links right there, and all of my stuff I'm big on recommendations because I've generated a lot for people and people have generated a lot for me. But I have all my multiple publications. First and foremost, you have to protect yourself. You have to put your you have to make sure that your own business, for let's call it audience, your own audience is growing. So all my 4 things, even my poetry one, they all recommend each other, and that has a network effect. Something to think about too is splitting off publications, because it's free to do, but it is more to manage. It can be a headache, and you can accidentally post things from one to the other and look like you're trying to grab more traffic than I feel like we owe each other, like a smile or like something, like a tangible piece of advice before we ask for the business, before we ask for the sale. Like, for instance, that like the easiest and most straightforward way to do that is like you're doing and I'm doing, free content on the front end. If you like it, come on in. But, just buy the book, basically. It's not buying a physical book, but you're buying that's why I try to make mine look as much of a physical artifact as possible, because I want people to be, and this is just the marketer side. If nothing else, as I always say, if you don't want to listen to me rambling about it, don't. But subscribe for free to EFL the Bastard. Just released chapter 7, and I've noticed also finally live Substack. There's nobody that does a better job of getting yourself in front of people in a nice way than Substack. Oh, and Reels. If you're a visual artist, Ulysses does not understand. And this, I hope, since this is recorded, I can go back in and like filter out all of my frenetic thoughts. But Reels, for a tool for our visual artists who are in the house. For instance, I've been just experimenting a little bit with Reels, and I came across an artist that I followed, Ulysses, and I had subscribed to Ulysses basically off of his notes activity because I thought he was funny and I thought that cool. And
he's hilarious.
I also
and he's brilliant.
Yeah, I also thought that it was so funny that he just was clueless about the fact that he placed on this list, the Rising list. And because I congratulated him, because I thought it was cool that they had a comics category or genre. But, he was just like, what? He didn't even know that there was a thing. So that's kind of part of his charm for me. But he will have, if he happens to even watch this, he'll have no idea what any of us are talking about. But there's a new feature in Substack called Reels. And all I'm doing is reposting ones of like really close-up pictures of cats and birds and graphic depictions of things. You have like sped up images of graphic novelists and comics artists shading in their work, and it's like a time lapse. And I can't lie, it's pretty fascinating. And last thing I'll say for Ulysses, if you maybe you're one of the old guard, perhaps, but that got me to watch one of your videos, and now I'm more involved. I'm more engaged. So it doesn't have to be just this guy in a baseball cap coming at you like top 10 ways to grow your stack. It's not all that. And we can keep it pure a little bit. And it's very good at filtering out stuff you don't want to see. It learns pretty quick, whatever voodoo they've got going on there.
All right. And I just enabled chat just to see what happens.
I wouldn't. Good luck.
I'm probably going to end up very lazy with it. It's hard for me to keep track of the PMs and private chat stuff because I dance between there. Full screen will only answer me if I communicate.
Do you have a lot of
well, it's just there's the chat, then there's Discord, then there's Twitter, and then there's email, then there's like there's
anymore. That's how bad it's gotten. And I'm half of your less than half of your subscribers.
Yeah, it's just really confusing.
If you disable comments except for you can disable comments except for like even down to like paid subscribers. I don't go that far extreme, but my life has been a lot better since I disabled everything except for subscribers messaging. You don't get any of the bots, and
well, I just when it comes to my essays and my stories, I pretty much free up the comment section.
oh, the comment section is another thing. That's public.
Yeah.
When people,
Okay.
I want that open, and I want that to be there. Of course, I hope people comment on my things, but the point is that what you get is, TikTok. I get 5, pictures of young women who have probably been stolen off of somebody's actual page, and they're being used to like perpetrate scams. But they've even started some of that on Substack, and so it's pretty like the stuff that gets through is sophisticated. So I just was tired of having people be like, who are you? Where are you from? How old are you? It's like, what? Stop trying to profile me for your ridiculous scam.
But Sam, we have to try to scam you. After all, how else will we afford whatever it is we're trying to scam you for?
There are better ways. There are
better ways.
Telling people who are even mildly creative, I'm trying to get this other guy. I need to get a shirt that says, Substack will win in the end, or something like Substack lies, or something provocative, because like I'm trying to get people on Substack, or like I need to figure out a way to get paid by them or something so it feels more honest. It ironically would feel more honest if I said, I highly recommend this and I'm paid to say it, than it would be like, look, because writers are too smart to pull any of the old tricks on. It's just like, and that's not a trick. Salespeople are decent. That's all.
But well, either way, well, I'm probably gonna have to take a picture at some point of me wearing the shirt a friend made when he made merch for his channel, which was "Make Aquilonia Great Again," because he thought that would be funny and a nice reference to Conan, who, when he took over Aquilonia from the previous corrupt dynasty, he made it great again. Was the joke. This friend was not really being political. He just thought it was a funny thing where he's like, the true MAGA is for us Robert E. Howard Conan fans, because we know the truth. It was Conan who is the original MAGA, make Aquilonia great again. But Aquilonia is inspired by Rome and France. So my friend who's from Finland thought it was utterly hilarious to say that, a nice little dig at me, and got me the shirt. And like he had it made, and he then got it for me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
I'm actually wearing a piece of merch. I suppose a friend of mine does a fashion line, PBB, Black Brand, out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I posted on my Instagram, but even my social media channels, like I have not checked Blue Sky. I'm glad you're not messaging me on Blue Sky, because I haven't checked that. And
I haven't checked it. I
haven't checked Twitter or X. It's just Instagram, TikTok, and then Substack. And it's weird. It's kind of scary how quickly and how ADHD I am as I bounce between those three. And I want to be clear. I'm saying this mostly to myself, actually, is that this time of kind of like a gold rush, I think, on Substack, but with actual gold for some that can be had, is not going to last forever. And
that reminds me, I got to use the money I made from Substack to buy gold.
Yes.
Okay.
Go buy land, keep it, and my view on Substack is get in and get out. Do the hard work of getting people in. Invest a small amount of make a rule for yourself that you only invest what you make from Substack if you're working a thing. I'm talking kind of to this imaginary audience, but turn it around and buy an ad or subscribe to an influential, a rising person's Substack and pay for it. I noticed that some authors, I like to go to the bottom of every day, at least once a day, that rising list is updated. The bestsellers are more static because that's just overall volume, I think. But if you go into the rising, I'll scroll to the very bottom and then buy a subscription from one of the lowest ones that looks adjacent to fantasy. Everything there, I make sure is fiction, publishes at least one fiction publication or something like that. But I will subscribe to one of those, and then buy it, and then you've got a fan for life. Like that's how I've gotten restacks from people with over 1,000 subscribers, is by just being like, "Hey, I want to buy your book," and we can't forget about the fact that it's like, just imagine yourself going into like a book fair, and your friend, your colleague has a stand open with the book that he's self-publishing, and would you pay, in your case, $11 for the book? You know, I would. I have.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
On my end, I'll say buy Cal at bulk, about $3 on Kindle, over on Amazon, and $25 for the paperback edition. I actually tried to make it cheaper, and I couldn't via Draft to Digital.
Do you quick, do you want to see something kind of real? This will be fun. While you're talking, I'll be right back.
Okie doke. And on Substack, my year-long subscriptions are for sale for $11. As for Sam, do check out his stuff. It'll be in the description down below.
Yep, and I would love, I always, I don't have. I'll say this, I am far more likely to subscribe back to you if you subscribe to me. It's not a follow for follow situation. I think I noticed this pretty quickly. Substack is right now a good place. I hope we can keep it that way, and I don't think there's any reason we can't keep it something like that for a long time. But that's my axe to grind. But I'll tell you something. On TikTok, you can straight up sell things in a dynamic way. And I went sight unseen. I paid for this. A package. It was $45. But it's because they presented it as a product. And some of this stuff, do you know what people are reading on Book Talk? Oh my God. And they're not even reading it. There are images that I will not show you. Now, this is okay. This is a hardback that this person has made. And let me tell you, some of the stuff that's in here is the spice emoji, which means that if you ever see the chili emoji, that refers to usually pretty graphic sexual content, or spice, as it's sometimes known, which I enjoy because I'm a Dune fan, and spice is a major plot factor of there. But I was a little bit scandalized, Joe. I was a little bit scandalized, especially the that came with it. I mean, I'm here for it, but at the same time, I'm like, don't act like this book is like this, I mean, this is not that far removed from that other thing that I think we're talking. Anyway.
Well, do check out.
But this person's making money doing it, and it's easy.
Yeah, do check everything out. It'll be in the description. And until next time.